You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate.
And we are
We're nice
recording.
now.
Hello, friends. You're listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was that? Was that better? Does that sound more professional? You're listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast.
Nah, I sound like a...
I need one of those button things. We got to get...
We're at a trade war with America now. You can't do American impressions, okay?
yeah, this is an anti-American podcast now.
No American goods on this podcast.
I didn't want to bring it up.
I thought get out of the way quickly.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and I was like, I knew we were going to record. And I'm like, okay, whatever I'm going to do, I'm not going to talk about being in a trade war with a psychopath. I just like fucking...
No, but we are.
American audience, don't worry, we still like you.
Do we?
Yeah, they're not, they're probably all like, the people that listen to us from the States, they're probably like, oh, those poor guys, those poor Canadians up there.
No, we're at war now.
Because you're Canadian now.
I know. That's why I'm at war.
Yeah. I'm at war.
My British passport's got fuck all to do with this war.
I'm at war now.
We're at war, boys. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like us trying to fight, like, it's like a bunch of grade sixers trying to fight, like, a bunch of high school kids
Yeah. Wait, who's the high school kids?
in the United States.
How
and
are
like,
they?
And, like, we're, like, trying to march up and, like it's, like, that's the war.
Because this is not a very equal power partnership, is it?
No, like, we're so fucked. Like,
Yeah, we
it's
are.
like, yeah, it's like if we got our, like, dodgeballs and, like, our gum, and then we're going out to a high school
Yeah.
to, like, fight a bunch of, like, almost men. Like,
With lead pipes
yeah.
and
we're so
wrenches.
fucked.
I'm going to do my part. I'm not going to eat Hershey's chocolate until this is resolved.
Fuck Hershey's.
Yeah.
Rugby,
Rugby, though.
Anyways, let's get on to the rugby.
Oh,
How was your weekend? How was your rugby weekend?
my weekend's been shit. Trade war. All the bad guys won rugby. Fuck. I'm joking. That's not true in the latter part. But yeah, shit. Shit weekend.
I had a great weekend.
I bet you
I
did.
got to watch
Bet you did.
Six Nations with my friends.
Yeah, it was fun. I had fun. I hung out with my friends as well. You lead the way here because I need you to pick me up.
You're a little sad today.
I am a little sad. Yeah, pick me up. Say something nice.
We were watching rugby with one of our friends, a woman who plays rugby with us on the women's team,
Yeah.
Sab.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I listen to the podcast.
She does know stuff about rugby, to be fair.
She always lets me know that she knows a lot about.
It's sad that she has to remind us, but it
Yeah,
is true.
Yeah, it's because she wants on the pod so bad.
Maybe one day.
Well, if she listens to it, then she'll hear this.
When the war is over, when the trade war is over.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Sab on here.
Yeah.
This morning, before we came to record, I was looking at stuff online about the Six Nations news over the weekend,
Yeah.
and one thing that kept coming up was Eddie Jones on ITV
Yeah.
and his hat.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, this is how Canadian I am too, because I kept saying he was wearing his hat all weird,
Yeah.
and he had it off to the side.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, Eddie Jones is wearing this baseball cap,
Right.
and he's moving it around, and he's wearing it backwards.
For context, you don't understand that hat means
Like
a woolly hat,
like a
a
toque.
toque,
Yeah,
a
'cause I'm
bobble hat.
So I'm just like completely, like, in my brain before I see him on TV,
Yeah.
I was like, what was he wearing? He had his cap on sideways. He put his hat on backwards. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking a baseball cap,
Yeah.
hands down. And I'm like, oh, this is good. I gotta see this,
Yeah.
right? And then I turned on. He's wearing a toque,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh. And he's just like he's so old and.
It's winter as
Yeah,
well.
and
Let
he's
him wear
cold.
a fucking
He's
hat.
bald. He's
Yeah.
old, and they were all making fun of his hat.
Yeah. I think it was more that they told him to take it off and he didn't. And it was just,
Why would they tell him to take it off?
I don't know. I feel like, this feels like a non-news story. Just like asking old cold man to take his hat off in the winter. And he's like, no. And then they're like, look at Eddie Jones being a drama queen again. It's like leave
maybe
him
if he was
alone.
like younger and he wasn't a small, tiny, cold old man.
Why do we care about what the fuck people wear on? You know,
I
like
don't
who the
know.
fuck
I
gives a
fucking don't
shit?
know.
Like, why are you not in a 3-piece suit? Like, do you relax? Fucking let the man wear a hat.
He looked out of place too. It was like he just like all the other guys were. He was standing beside.
Was it with Johnny Wilkinson? Was
Johnny
it?
Wilkinson was there. Brian O'Driscoll.
Yeah.
And oh my god, I forgot his name. The Ireland captain.
Keith
Hooker.
Wood?
No, from Ulster.
Rory
Retired.
Best.
Yes.
Mm.
Who is bald
Very
and
bald.
wasn't wearing a toque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most retired rugby players are bald.
Yeah.
That's a fact I just gave you.
It's all the steroids.
Did they make
Lose
him
their
wear a
hair.
hat?
No, he didn't wear a hat.
Mm.
He was just bald out in the cold.
Did he have Vaseline rubbed on his head?
But the thing is, when I was looking at this, I was on YouTube trying to find a video of this.
Yeah.
I came across this guy who does this dead-on impression.
Of Eddie Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, I know
bet
exactly
you a lot
what
of
you're
people.
talking about.
But he does an impression
Yeah.
of Andy Farrell that is fucking. I wonder if this will come through. Hold on, I'm gonna try this here.
Okay.
This year's championship? No, not at all. I don't think you can blame individuals.
That is really good.
You know, we win as a team, we lose as a team. You know, we as a group of players and management, we have to take responsibility. So no,
That's really
hashtag
good.
Team of us.
You could have told me that was Andy Farrell and I would have believed
Right?
you.
It's the same guy. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, I watched it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how there's some people, if they can do one impression, they can do all the impressions?
Just pure talent.
I think it's just something. There's some people who just, there's some people who can't have coriander on their food. What do you call coriander in
Coriander. Or what do you
What's the other word for it that you saw in Canada?
cilantro?
Cilantro.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't eat cilantro because it tastes like soap. I think there's some people who have some genetic ability to, if they can do one impression really good, they can do all the impressions.
They can just do them all.
They can just do anyone. Yeah. We need to recruit these people as spies, not as comedians, But yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, when I was watching that, I was like, this, you could literally, if I wasn't seeing the video,
Yeah.
I would think that was Andy Farrell.
Yeah. No, it sounded exactly like him. And because he didn't make any jokes, he just said normal Andy Farrell stuff. I was like, that is Andy Farrell.
Hashtag team of us. I just fucking died.
Hashtag team of us.
Hashtag team of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to? Is there anything before we start talking about the games, the Six Nations? This podcast could be Six Nations heavy.
Friend of the show, Matt, has asked us to. No, he didn't ask. He said he likes his podcasts around an hour, so we better get straight into it.
Well, I don't give a fuck about him. I've been friends with that guy for 20 years. He can handle it. An hour and 6 minutes.
We've got about 4 listeners,
I'm gonna go to
and we need to keep
an
them.
hour and 6 minutes just because I.
Fuck's sake, Steve. All right, fine. No, nothing else to talk about though.
What about Six Nations on Netflix? That drama.
I'm currently googling cilantro and coriander to make sure they are the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Let's forget about that.
Yes, don't worry about that.
Let's
shit.
talk about Netflix at the end.
You want to talk about Netflix at the end?
Actually, no. Do you know what? It might be nice to get some cathartic thing out when it's not talking
let's
about
get
Wales.
our tongues wet. Let's get all the drama, the news and drama out first
Okay.
before we start digging into these games.
Me and you have been very big critics of the way rugby markets itself, and Netflix have announced they're cancelling season 3 of. I don't even remember the name of the fucking show.
I think it's called Six Nations.
Yeah. I hated season 1. And I know I'm coming at it with a bit of a Wales are in a shit place, so I'm not likely to enjoy it as much as an Irish or French fan. But it was like, from the get-go, it felt like rugby was shooting itself in the foot. So they were like, no, you're not coming in the fucking changing room. Was that how we're going to make our show? We can fucking do it in the parking lot, can't you? And it just felt like everyone had their backs up and the rugby players didn't want to be there. And all these young rugby players are so media trained, they don't want to say anything controversial. And they've even got these stock phrases. Like whenever you watch a rugby player or a rugby coach in an interview, first thing they'll say things like, obviously. Well, obviously we want to, yeah, okay. And they'll say things like, look, which is just like a borrowed New Zealand-ism, isn't it? Look, this is the way the things go. And from the get-go, you can just hear the boring fucking media training in their voice, right? They're all just sheepy robots. And the show is shit. The rugby players are too media trained for it to be entertaining. And to be honest, it wasn't the most competitive Six Nations last year, was it? Ireland just cruised it, right?
Well, they had that big dramatic loss at the end of England.
Oh, sorry. No, you're totally right. I'm thinking about the year before. Last year was more competitive. I just think rugby just can't fucking market itself. Netflix wanted to do a show with you, and you fucked it up.
That's the biggest thing. Like, you fucked up Netflix.
You fucked up Netflix.
Like,
you could just be fucking
How the fuck-
printing cash right now.
Like, this should have been the biggest thing for for us rugby fans.
This absolutely takes rugby to the next level.
Now,
It
I'm not
brings
like
in the
you.
fans.
I'm not like you. I did enjoy the first season. I haven't watched the second season yet because I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the thing was, it wasn't anything new for a rugby fan. I think that's where rugby fans, rugby fans didn't like the show. The general consensus that I saw online, what I feel like my opinion is that rugby fans didn't enjoy the show because they didn't bring us anywhere new in the game. They didn't give us any kind of cinematic insight.
No.
I thought but the people that weren't fans of rugby that watched it loved it.
I heard
And
that.
I had a number of people I personally know.
Yeah.
I know it's anecdotal, but
It's fair enough though, isn't it?
They loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember we talked about this at length, didn't we? Yeah, we said it brought nothing new to current rugby fans. It brought in some newer audiences, but it speaks for itself that they've cancelled it, right? And the worst thing is, there's literal templates of how to do this. Watch Chasing the Sun. That's a really good rugby documentary. They made another one that's also really good. You watch Welcome to Wrexham. That's how you do an episodic sports documentary.
I think
you can just follow that fucking template. you know?
I don't think that Chasing the Sun would be a good template for bringing in new fans. It's really for fans, that show.
Yeah.
But Welcome to Wrexham.
That's right.
That's a good template to have.
Yeah, right. And you don't even need your team to win for it to be exciting and dramatic. Tell the human stories, right? Just talk about the players. That's all you got to fucking do.
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate.
Yeah. The best thing about the rugby Netflix, Six Nations Netflix thing was everyone loved Andrew Porter, right? Because he was telling his slightly heartbreaking rise through adversity to be one of the best loosehead props in the world, and everyone loved it because it was emotional and it was a human story. It's all you've got to do. It's not rocket science,
And then you
right?
got Finn Russell buying Gucci shirts in the next episode.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck
And
is
his
this?
poor wife, my poor husband, I worry about him.
His face. I don't want his
beautiful
face. His beautiful face. It's just all around.
Yeah.
Rugby just can't do anything to help itself.
It can't, can it? It's pathetic.
just so fucking
It's
brutal.
pathetic. It's just this lumbering drunk of a sport, like just crashing from one accident on social media to the next. Like
Everything they needed to do to that Netflix documentary should have been the biggest thing
Yeah.
for rugby in general.
Yeah. Do you know who's done more for rugby than the entire of rugby? Ilona Meher.
She has.
Done more for rugby's image on her own without trying that hard than World Rugby. You know,
She
it's
does.
embarrassing.
Just like this morning when I went to go look at stats, I went to the Six Nations website
Yeah.
to go look at the stats for the weekend, just wondering what they had.
Yeah.
Nothing. They don't got nothing on there. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Like, guys,
I know.
fuck,
I know,
man.
it's embarrassing, isn't it?
Like, Jesus, just get the shit, get your shit together.
Yeah. No, we can't.
How do you feel about, sidetracking from this, how do you feel about the potential of Six Nations going behind a paywall in the UK?
It would genuinely, in Wales, not kill the game, but it would put another serious dent in rugby as a popular sport. Because football is our football team is doing really well, right? For a country of 3 million people with a poor economy, our football team is in the top 20 in the world. And if you put that in rugby context, that sounds shit. But football is a global game. 197 countries and Wales are in the top 20. It's pretty fucking good, right? And and it's kicking rugby's fucking head in right now. If you put rugby behind a paywall, if you go to Wales on a Six Nations Day and you go to a pub or someone's living room, the game is on. The national game has always been a bit bigger in most of the country than the club game. If you take this off free to air, that's another kick in the teeth for Welsh rugby. It's getting to the point where it might not recover, you know? So it's serious. It's serious for us.
My first initial thought was, this is not a product that can go behind
It's not.
a paywall.
It's not.
It's not popular. It
Doesn't happen for long enough period of time either.
This is a sport really trying to get its foot in the ground with other sports.
Yeah.
And to put that behind a paywall is just, in my eyes, fucking ridiculous.
It doesn't match, this is a bit technical, it doesn't match the funding model of a subscription service either, right? If I get DAZN, which I did, foolishly, I regret it, but if I get DAZN for the Six Nations is on for about 3 months. What the fuck am I going to do for the rest of the 9 months with my $200 subscription or whatever it is?
Yeah, because there's no way there's I think it's TNT is the the head to get the Six Nations thing. That's the
Yeah.
rumors.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to give you like a Six Nations pass.
No.
And if they did, it would be like ridiculously expensive.
It would be expensive.
I think like the Champions Cup was doing that for a while. They basically had all their games for international viewers
Yeah.
under a paywall on their website.
Yeah.
And it was super expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had to pay like it was like £30 for a weekend of the games.
That's ridiculous.
Like
yeah.
that wasn't like a monthly thing.
Yeah.
It was like it's like if I was going to host a sporting event with me
Yeah.
and some other guy down the street, we're going to have a boxing match and
Yeah.
I want as many people to watch it. It's like Steve and Doug fighting on pay-per-view. Like
Yeah.
who's going to fucking pay for that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
no one's going to pay for
No,
it.
they're not. No, and it's like if this was a global, if this was a long win, it was a 9-month season. Fair, maybe it's not. It's 5 weekends of rugby, then it's done.
It just in a sport that's trying to grow, that needs to grow. Putting it behind a paywall right now is the worst thing. Like, who is it? Jim Hamilton said it best this week. Like, if Six Nation was to go anywhere, to be shown anywhere behind a paywall, Netflix.
I mean, I'm the hard line. I think you take it behind a paywall, it kills the game. Not that badly. It puts a dent in it. So any kind of paywall is a bad idea.
Like Netflix is like over 300 and something million viewers.
But now that we're boycotting American goods, we all have to cancel our Netflix in Canada.
Oh, that's right.
We're in a trade war, Steve. We're in a fucking trade war. So no Netflix.
Okay.
Crave is Canadian owned. If you want to, if Crave got the Six Nations, we could watch Band of Brothers and then Six Nations, and we'd be fine.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think that's when I heard that news is going to go behind a paywall. It's going to do more like worse than good.
Of course it
It's
is.
going to do more bad than good. It's going to be
Yeah.
a bad thing.
And this, like, I've been wittering about this for a few weeks. Like, just the way that money is creeping into the game at all levels. This just feels like the greedy fucking claws of money grabbers getting into the game more, doesn't it?
Yes, and it's premature.
It is
That's the problem. It's premature. It's not like the NFL where they could put that thing on anything and people are going to claw,
Yeah.
salivate at the mouth
Yeah.
to get it. No
Yeah,
matter
yeah,
what
yeah.
it costs, there's going to be millions and millions and millions of people
Yeah.
trying to pay whatever it costs to watch it.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? People aren't going to do that with rugby.
You could charge $1,000 per game on the NFL and people would fucking buy it.
Yeah, they'd
right?
be like, oh, you gotta
Well,
watch
I
it.
gotta watch the Ravens. Like,
yeah, they gotta do
gotta
it.
watch my Ravens. Like, we can't do that in rugby because we're not there yet. you
Yeah.
know?
So that was just a thing too. It's just a sad
That
thing.
was good actually because it got me hyped up. Got us a bit of anger. I'm fresh now. We can talk
Any
about
other
whatever
news
you want.
to get to before we get to the Six Nations?
Do you want to talk about Stuart Lancaster?
Stuart Lancaster? All the rumors are true.
They were true. Andy Good was justified.
Andy Good.
Yeah.
He must. He's gonna be looking for an apology. Andy Good's gonna be knocking on Stuart's door.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, say sorry. Let's get out of here, Good.
Holding him back. I want to talk a little bit about the fired and rehired coaching chess pieces of the Northern Hemisphere game right now. Because Michael Cheika leaving Leicester, which isn't that dramatic because we knew he was on a 1-year contract with them.
I didn't know this. And then when I saw that, and they're like, yeah, we knew all along it was a 1-year thing.
Yeah.
What kind of established club that wants to succeed signs a contract like that? Gets a deal made like that. Like, aren't you like looking forward? Like, shouldn't you be always looking into the future?
That's right. And it wasn't like 1 year with the option to extend. It was 1 year and done, right? Like,
Like, what the fuck is
bizarre, wasn't
like?
it?
Why would you even take that? Wouldn't you want a coach that wants to invest in the team for as long as possible?
I think because he's Michael Cheika, they thought this will be good. He just brings a lot of experience immediately, but I mean, hasn't been the case, has it? They're not doing great, so
It was just a dumb deal.
it was stupid.
If you're an international coach right now, it's pretty good to be an international coach because you don't have to have now what we're seeing is you don't really have to perform.
No, your name is more valuable than your performances, isn't it?
Because you got some coaches that got some pretty ruthless records,
Yeah.
and still have their job.
Yeah, like if you hired Warren Gatland after he inevitably gets sacked, like I'd be thinking he hasn't won a game in over a year.
Like
But people
Borthwick,
buy
too.
him, like
Like last year, their only win was against Japan. Like,
yeah. He's had one significant win.
it's like,
It was against Ireland last year. That's his only significant win.
I was like,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm not joking. Like that's
because
it.
they beat Ireland,
That's it.
Italy, and Japan.
Right. And
And
I
that's
don't
it.
count Italy and Japan as significant wins for England,
It's
to be
like,
honest.
it's good cooking. If you're an international coach, there's a lot of grace being given out to international coaches right now.
Yeah, there is. Jesus Christ, yeah.
It's good money to be in that game right now.
Yeah, just your name's all you fucking need, isn't it? But I'm thinking like Munster's seat is empty. Graham Roundtree's snooping around the bushes somewhere else.
I heard Leicester.
I could see it. He's going
he used
home.
to be a Leicester Tiger wing. Yeah.
He's going home.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, totally.
That's pretty much going to happen.
I think so. Felix Jones is creeping around. Is he going home to Munster? Maybe people just going home.
I don't know anymore because I felt like this deal should have been done already. If Felix Jones was going to go to Munster, he would have been there already. I'm thinking that Munster might be pretty content with what they got.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think there's going to be... I'm starting to believe that Munster is not going to have a coaching change.
Maybe it was a money-saving thing. Maybe like, this guy's just too expensive. We'll just get a homegrown guy and pay him half as much.
They've been playing pretty decent since Graham Drury left.
Yeah.
I think they might be... I think there's not going to be a huge marquee signing for them.
I should say, though, it's not like he was doing badly.
No.
Like, he wasn't a disaster coach. He won them the fucking URC. So, I don't know. Anyway, I just thought we'd talk about that a bit, but maybe people are just going home.
Where do you think Stuart Lancaster can go? Where do you think he goes after this? Because I don't know if he goes to Munster.
I think this is unexpected for him because the way he reacted to Andy Good saying he was going to get fired, he was like, can you fucking mind your business? I'm taking this seriously. So I don't think he's thought that far ahead.
Now, he hasn't gotten officially fired.
Right.
They parted ways. Whichever way, however you put that.
Do you remember when Chris Martin broke up with Gwyneth Paltrow and they called it a conscious uncoupling? Because they were far too rich to have normal human emotions. That feels like this a bit. They had a conscious uncoupling at wrestling.
I would, because where does he end up?
He seems like a really nice, honorable man, but he's a bit boring, isn't he? Like,
does he end up at Ulster? Does he end up in Wales?
No, I don't want Stuart Lancaster. We need someone fresh and hip and exciting. We don't want old man, boring Lancaster who's going to tell people not to drink beers.
He could have ended up in Canada.
No, you've got a guy now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would have been a good signing.
It's too late. You can't afford Stuart Lancaster.
Sure we can.
No, you can't afford
Dig deep somewhere.
You could barely afford Kingsley Jones.
We can't afford anything anymore anyway, so.
No, we're in a trade war.
Yeah, we're in a trade war.
Yeah, I don't know. Coaches
moving
around, sneaking around bushes.
Okay, let's get into this. Let's get into the Six Nations. Let's get into...
This is like going for a fucking tooth extraction right now.
The first game of the weekend. People want to hear about this. Let's talk about the Six Nations. We're getting into this.
What did you think, Stephen?
The Six Nations this weekend was pretty... It was good and it was sad.
It was sad.
There's a little bit of sadness, but it was...
Yeah.
I had a great... I love watching... I realized I love watching rugby with people. That's my favorite. I love like getting together with friends, watching the games. It's like one of my favorite things to do. But now I'm realizing I was like, maybe I want to watch these games with less people.
Why?
I thought like yesterday we were watching the Scotland-Italy game.
We didn't pay a lot of attention, did we?
No, because everyone was talking about other bullshit and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't pay... Yeah, Scotland and Italy didn't get a full attention.
I want like the people to be more focused on the game.
This is your job now. You're a professional podcaster. So you are right. You need to pay attention to every moment of rugby.
But let's talk about the first game of the weekend.
Okay. You start.
France versus Wales. France 43.
Yeah.
Wales
Big
0.
Fucking O. Yeah.
I can't remember if I've even ever saw a blanking.
Hasn't happened in 18 years.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a serious thing. This is we'll joke and we'll laugh and we'll cry. But the bottom line is this is fucking serious. For me, that's it. It's serious.
People are like, France didn't play that good. I'm like, they blanked a team.
Yeah.
Like they didn't let the team score a single point, which is
and they did it while scoring 43 points. Yeah. And whilst looking like they could have fucking played harder and better. I think we should talk about France first because that feels like... I always feel like you should talk about the winning team first rather than make bitch excuses for another losing team. So let's talk about France. They didn't play as... I agree with what a lot of people said. They didn't play as well as they can. And to an extent, everyone was expecting a hammering because you've only got to look at Toulouse and Bordeaux to go and look at the results they're getting over Leicester and Sale... not Sale, the South African Sharks, Durban. to know that this is a really fucking serious team. And yeah, Peno is injured, but the depth they have, like we were making a joke about it, right? When South Africa bring on the bomb squad, they bring on these big fucking guys. France bring on a fucking nuke squad.
Yeah, it's a
the
nuke
fucking
squad.
proper place. The size of those fuckers. They are
It's really impressive, isn't
they're
it?
scary, scary men. They are massive fucking human beings, right? Other good things I could say about France. Yeah, Dupont, everyone's already said it. He's a wizard at rugby. He's a fucking ethereal being who can... And you know the crazy thing was, we were defending okay in that first sort of 10-15, and Dupont just crossfield kicks like a beauty, doesn't he? Like, he just puts it on a... I'm not going to say dime, because that's an Americanism when we're in a trade war. So he puts it on a dot out wide with those crossfield kicks. It's so impressive.
It's their... France's efficiency
Yeah.
in their attack
Yeah.
is spectacular.
It's incredible, isn't
like
it?
if you look at the stats, like Wales actually, like, they carried the ball more, they made more meters, they made almost as many line breaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is that the efficiency, the creativity in the attack,
Yeah. Yeah.
was just it was so different.
They do not go into a 22 without coming out with something, do they?
No,
It's like
you're exactly right.
every
It's-
time they go
yeah.
into the 22, they're like, we're not leaving until we've got something.
even the penalties in this game, like Wales 12, France 3. with
That's
one-
actually very impressive, to
Yeah.
be fair. That's very impressive.
That's a thing that you noticed in the last few years. It's like France's discipline has gotten, because it used to be like when I first started watching rugby, France would shoot themselves in the foot all the fucking time.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we've stopped saying which French team are going to show up. I genuinely am happy about that, because you'd either get All Blacks-esque swashbuckling French guys who would just like fucking run tries in from anywhere, or you'd get an ill-disciplined, hungover, don't give a fuck, giving away penalties every 2 minutes France, right? Now they are superlative rugby team. I think there's a kind of trend happening right now where New Zealand and South Africa are like the guys in the Southern Hemisphere. It's Ireland and France in the North, right? It's almost like we're seeing a bit of a rugby championship. Who's going to beat Ireland and France now? They're the teams to beat, right? And I'm not making excuses for Wales at all. But the main game of this tournament is now going to be France and Ireland, and it'll probably be that for a couple more years, I reckon, at least. And I can't see France and Ireland dipping in
I
quality.
do think there are some tides changing in some areas
Yeah,
with some teams.
yeah.
This game really exposed something for me.
Let's keep... Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And you kind of, a lot of people were saying, like, when you watched Wales play France, you saw a lot of talent
Oh, I've got so much to say about this.
on
Oh, I've got so much to say.
the field.
Yeah,
When I'm looking at this,
yeah.
when they had the ball in hand, there was no plan.
Nope,
It was completely clueless.
it was.
Decisions that were being made were awful. They
Yeah.
didn't, like, they literally, like, sometimes they were looking around and didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
They looked confused.
yeah,
Like, when it's test rugby and you're a tier 1 team, when you have the ball in your hand, you know what you're going to do.
and you want to be hungry,
You want to be hungry.
and you've got a plan you've been drilling for weeks.
Yeah. They looked like panicked. They looked
Yeah.
like they didn't know what's the right decision to make. They
Yeah.
were just making random decisions.
And the crazy thing was that was happening when we had possession in the French 22, and it wasn't like, yeah, they were defending well, but they weren't like rushing up to smash us the second we got it. Like, we had enough time and space to create a purposeful attack. Didn't do that once. Didn't do that once.
I just remember Ben Thomas running with the ball, looking side to side,
Yeah,
didn't know what to
yeah,
do, and
no.
then he just boots it.
Yeah, because he can't fucking do anything else, right?
And there was just nothing. They like Wales didn't have anything in their arsenal
No.
to threaten France with
Yeah.
with any sort of offense.
Yeah.
They just hucked the ball to each other and just
Yeah.
ran forward.
Yeah.
There's no creativity, nothing. And when I saw that, I was like, this is a coaching issue hard.
Oh, of course it is.
This
yeah.
isn't and the fact that the players are unable to, like, their rugby IQ is so minimal
Yeah.
at such a high level. That coaching, like, rot has to even go lower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so there's like the coaching in Wales in general it's awful.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you like what Squidge often says about Welsh rugby is we just have a coaching problem. What Ireland have done well for a long time is invested in coaches, right? And you know me, I'm always the first guy to criticize the fact that we're overlooking that they have a lot more resources and money. But what is very true is they have smartly put more money into coaching. We've never done that.
Their rugby education in Ireland, let's talk about Ireland too, is so much higher. The standard is so much higher. So these kids growing up, the rugby education they're getting compared to the kids in Wales is night and day.
It is. And the sad thing is, most Welsh kids play rugby. It's not like it's alien to them. When you come to Canada, people start playing sometimes as late as their 30s.
But they're going the Irish are going to academies where guys are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to teach these kids how to play rugby.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how it works in Wales.
Well, they get sent to England.
Yeah,
they get sent to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in Gloucester.
You're basically Wales is basically Tonga for England.
Yeah.
Right? You know, New Zealand just takes all these kids.
Yeah.
They're just trafficking all these rugby players.
Yeah. What's his name? Faye Weboso. Doesn't sound Welsh to me.
So it's just the whole system is, when I was seeing there, it's these guys are not.
It's rotten to the core.
Yeah, the IQ is not there. These kids are not.
It's a very sad thing because this is our national sport. This is not the thing you should be saying about Welsh kit players, right? But there's an element of truth to it, definitely. We just are not coached well enough.
And has Warren Gatland, if that game proved Warren Gatland is out of touch with the current game.
That's one of the big things I wanted to talk about is. Okay, so one thing that went well, here's a good example of this, right? Our scrum, 100% win rate.
Yeah.
We won every single scrum that we were supposed to win. Adam Jones has been there for a fortnight. He's not like Felix Jones levels of analytical, right? People don't talk about him in the same way, but people do have a lot of respect for him for what he's done at Harlequins. They know he's a good scrum coach. And what I'm saying is he's not the best scrum coach in the world, but he's a good scrum coach. He came in, he did exactly what he was paid to do. Our scrum was actually very good.
He was the only person in the Wales to have a win.
Right, yeah, exactly.
No one's blaming Adam Jones.
Him and Jack Morgan, the only people who are getting pats on the back this weekend, right?
Oh, David Jenkins.
David Jenkins. I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to make a point about Adam Jones, right? Our scrum was really good. And our props, to be fair to him, Gareth Thomas had a good game as well. He scrummaged fucking well. And you look at what Warren Gatland has done, he has kicked out Alex Jones, brought back Rob Howley, who, let's remember, was shit when he was our attack coach last time. Wales were not famous for our attack when we won 4 Grand Slams, right? We have the record for the least amount of tries scored during a Grand Slam, right? Why would you bring it? So the point is, he has not evolved. And you've got to look at when he went to coach the Chiefs and he didn't win a fucking game there. He went to a different style of rugby and he was like, let's play this game style I've come up with where we give it to guys and we run straight up the fucking middle. When he was good at what he did, he had the players to do it. We don't have big men. You have to adapt your game plan. He is the least adaptable coach in the Northern Hemisphere. He's got to be.
I hands down agree. He does not see the game.
No.
The same way as the other coaches see it,
and it's moved so far on now.
It's moved past him.
Yeah,
he's literally not. He hasn't grown at all.
No,
and that game really exposed that.
It did.
The players, Wales physically fronted up.
Yeah,
the set piece was there.
It was.
They just, when it came to defense and offense, they were just fucking all over the place.
Couldn't do anything,
and there was just no innovation.
No, there wasn't.
There wasn't. That has to go on Gatland's shoulders. That has to, you have the players there. You could have done something.
You could. Yeah.
There was no plan.
That's the thing. That's the other point I really wanted to make as a overview of this game. Right? Is I never expected to win this game. Even with the play, even if those plays we had were coached really well, we're playing the fucking French national team who are shit hot, who've just beaten New Zealand. They're a really good fucking team, right? Even if our team was coached well, I don't think we'd have won. But the plays we have is enough to make it a competitive game.
Yes.
We could have lost by 5 or 10 points with that team if they'd have been coached right.
Yep.
I have no doubt about that.
No, they went in there. They literally got sent to the meat grinder. They just got sent to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
they were not prepared.
Yeah, I'm genuinely angry and sad about this because obviously rugby means a lot to me. But what it feels like right now is worse than that because it feels like we're homeschooled kids, right? We're looking from our little homeschool classroom, all the kids having fun on the playground. Like, can I go play and be normal in a school? And it's like, no, you've got to play boring, weird 20-year-old rugby.
Right?
We have a once-in-a-generation talent in Jack Morgan. This guy's a fucking warrior, right? And he's good in the loose. He's the perfect flanker. He did a fucking 50-22 against Australia not long ago. He's a fucking incredible player. And look at his stats. I don't need to say anything more about him. He's going to be the Sergio Parisse of this generation of Wales guys. It'd be like, we'll get the fucking shit kicked out of us and never go, oh, Jack Morgan played well. Isn't it sad he's Welsh? And that's a horrible thing for me to say because it's true already.
Yeah, it's dated. I don't know, like if Gatland maybe have had success in a position where at the time when he was most successful, maybe rugby was at a more primitive stage in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So he could use these basic game plans to like have success.
I disagree with that because the best coaches in the world innovate and change the game. When Gatland was good, he did innovate and change. When people call what they call Warren Ball, he was the first guy to do that. He was the first guy to recognize if you get massive men to fucking exhaust the other team just by smashing them to bits, it's easy to score tries outside. And he did that successfully. When he was winning Grand Slams for Wales, he was an innovative coach. But now it doesn't work, and he hasn't got the players to do it.
He doesn't. Yeah, it's like he doesn't care.
And he sounds out of breath all the time. Like when he's talking, he's just like, just gas talking, just gas being live in this fucking position. Well, fuck off then. Gatland has given me some of my favorite ever rugby memories. He's very quickly torching his legacy in front of my eyes, right? I remember being in pubs in Cardiff, shouting and screaming with joy because we won another fucking Grand Slam under Gatland. The first day I met you, do you remember where we were?
At the pub.
With Wales beating Ireland, hammering them in a Grand Slam.
Yeah, there's a picture.
Yeah, there is.
There's a picture with all you guys in your Welsh jerseys, and I'm sitting there with Levi, and we're all sad.
Yeah. All you pretend Irish people in Canada.
That's when we fell in love.
That's when we fell. It's a romantic. It's ruining my romantic stories. Do you know what I mean? What a bastard, ruining my memories.
Oh man, it's gonna be an ugly exit for him.
Yeah.
And it's clear that he's like holding the country hostage.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he's not gonna leave. He's getting paid. They got their hands tied with him.
Yeah.
Because guaranteed he has a lockdown contract. That's why he's still there.
Yeah, of course.
That's why you can lose a million games and still have your job because they are financially
We can't
tied.
afford to fucking get rid of him.
And
he hasn't got the honor to go, I understand this game is more important than me. I understand this is your national sport. I'll just leave with grace. I'm a rich man. I'll get another job. But no, he's sat there going, I want my fucking payout.
Because there's just nothing more evident that happened on the weekend that this is a coaching issue.
Yeah.
These guys, maybe they wouldn't have won.
No, I don't
But
think
that game could have been way more competitive.
We definitely have a lull in talent in Wales, but every country always has a lull in talent. Hopefully have the right infrastructure to mean that you stay competitive. We have the right players to be competitive and lose several games.
Because you're talking about a team like that France team is not 100. It's not crazy different.
No.
From the team that drew against Italy.
Drew with fucking Italy, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is not like it's just not a reach to have a competitive game.
It's not.
But the fact that they just had no plan, zero plan, the guys didn't know what was going on, they didn't know what was doing, they're getting exposed all over the place.
Yeah.
You have to point the finger at the coach.
And even if you debate the playing style, you've only got to look at the players in the positions and who was you didn't pick Max Llewellyn, probably the best centre in the fucking Prem right now. You put Ben Thomas a centre who plays very well at centre for Cardiff at 10. And then Dan Edwards, probably the best 10 in Wales at the minute. Yeah, he's young, but it's not like we've got anyone else. Play him at fucking 10. And he did play at 10 eventually. And now look what's happened. We've lost Aaron Wainwright and Owen Watkin. Probably Aaron Wainwright might be our best ball carrier by far, is gone for the tournament. So not only did we get hammered, we now got less resources to win games.
I just wouldn't want to be in that camp right now.
Can you imagine? Like, you've got to play Italy next week. The first time in my life where I'm confident Italy will win.
I think Italy's going to win that game too.
Of course they are.
Hands down.
Of course they are. Yeah. Anyway.
Did you get everything out you wanted to say?
I feel like anyone who's listening to me today. Let me just read my notes so and you can tell me if I've missed anything. Rob Howley, what the fuck? Gatland game plan, what the fuck? The stats were balanced. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Wasting a generation of talent. I feel like a homeschooled kid trapped looking at other kids having fun. Yeah, I got everything out.
It's like,
Scrum good.
that's fucking bleak.
Scrum good. Nilled 18 years, I also wrote. Yeah. It is bleak, innit?
Okay, well, let's go on to Italy, Scotland then.
One more thing. Look at Australia, right?
Yeah.
Australia and Wales, we were in a really similar position. They got Joe Schmidt, we got Warren Gatland. Look what fucking happened.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine we were talking about Aaron Wainwright the same way we talk about Robbie Valentini. Similar players, right? Good ball carriers, strong, get break tackles. Like all they're really similar in the way they play. We could be going, look at Aaron Wainwright. Fucking the way we go, fucking Bobby V.
No, not happening.
Can we have Joe Schmidt? No, because we're homeschooled. We're learning the curriculum from a newspaper
You're
from the
gonna
40s.
get Stuart Lancaster.
Fuck's
That's the new
sake.
coach of Wales.
Jesus Christ.
He's
We'll probably get
gone.
Rob Howley. We'd probably fire Gatlin and get Rob Howley.
They'll probably do something like that.
Probably get a fucking wish.com
No,
fucking
you know who
coach.
it's going to be?
Who?
He's on the market right now. He's Welsh.
Kingsley.
Kingsley Jones.
Kingsley, welcome home, brother.
Kingsley Jones.
Welcome
the new
to the
head.
dumpster fire.
Oh my God, the disaster.
Yeah.
The disaster. Oh, I
Yeah.
can see that happening too.
Fucking hell.
Italy, Scotland.
Italy, Scotland. There we go. Change of mood.
This game is good.
It was good.
This game,
Yeah.
like I think Italy's here.
They are here now. They are
Yeah.
here now.
They were a little scratchy
Yeah.
at the beginning. The second half
Mm.
turned it around for them.
Mm.
They kept in the fight until the very at the end when they Scotland started opening it up.
Yeah.
But I could see this is Italy is only going to get better from this.
Italy will definitely trouble. Well, they beat Wales. I think they'll trouble, possibly beat England. I know that's a stretch.
It's coming down, man. They've never beaten England. That day is coming.
They're the last on the hit list, aren't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's coming, and
Yeah.
they're getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
It could even be this year.
Yeah. Yeah. We gaslighting people about
yeah,
Italy.
we're Squidge rugbying it up hard.
We're squidge rugbying people about Italy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, counter to that though, Scotland were 14 up. Italy had a purple patch, scored a single try. They only scored a try in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Scotland decided they were going to be good again, they put the game to bed. So in the end, a convincing Scotland win. The context though is Scotland are also a lot better than they used to be. Even without Tuipulotu, Scotland still had a fucking scary backline. Like you've got Blair Kinghorn, Darcy Graham, Finn Russell was doing this. Like they've got a really good backline, you know.
What really impressed me about this game, the thing that when you talk about Scotland, everyone's at the back line, their attack,
Yeah.
their defense
Yes, their defense was very good.
was fucking great.
And
At some parts, it wasn't perfect, but it was so much better than what I've previously seen from them.
yes, I totally agree. And you've got to fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. What are you going to say?
Yeah, just the game. Their game has been evolving. It's been a slow burn, but they just keep evolving as a team,
Yeah, they do.
and which is surprising too because Gregor Townsend has been there forever,
Yeah.
and you usually see coaches change, move on.
Yeah.
They've held on to him through thick and thin,
Yeah.
and like he's got like a healthy, he's got a nice set of players in his lap right
I
now.
like him. He's adaptable, which is very important. And he had that rift with Finn Russell. That's dead and buried. They're friends now.
Yeah,
And Finn Russell's playing good again.
that was very professional.
It
of them
was
to
very
get- yeah.
professional. Like he's doing what Gatlin should do. He's putting his country and his team first. Because Gregor Townsend is a passionate Scotsman, right? He obviously gives a lot of fucks about the progress of his country, and he's now got a lot of the tools to do that, and he is doing that, right? I was so sad that Tuipulotu was injured because like he was the main character of rugby this year. Now it's DuPont again.
And there was points where, like, going back to Italy, they like Italy, if they would have like executed on some of those opportunities that they created,
Yeah.
they could have won that game.
Yeah, and Scottish defence actually was the difference, wasn't
Yes.
it? Yeah, Scottish defence.
I think if you would have played this game last year,
Yeah.
I think Italy would have beat this Scotland team.
Well, they did beat them last year, so
Oh, they did too. Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
So last year they won.
Yeah.
This year, like Scotland, they have evolved. Like they're an evolving team.
yeah, that's right, and that's why I'm sad. I hate to go back to Wales again, and I'll stop doing it in a second, but it feels like everything in the Six Nations is progressing. We're going backwards, but everyone else, even Italy, are actually doing stuff and going forward, right?
Oh, that's a general consensus. Like you see any pundit like on TV, anyone talk about rugby, they're just talking about like Wales are so far behind now.
Yeah.
It's going to take years to like get to that point.
I mean, you know how it goes with rugby as well. Like, we could get a different coach and things could change overnight, but it does feel like we're lacking so much innovation that we've fallen behind. But I just want to go back to Scotland, Italy. Like, we should stay there. If you look at the stats, similar to France and Wales, they were close, right? There wasn't much to... If you looked at the stats and you didn't know the score, you'd have thought, I don't know who won that game.
Yeah.
So Scottish defence actually was the thing that won them the game, I think. But Scotland's attack was still good. They still scored 4 tries, right? I think it was 4 or 3. But they looked good for their tries.
Oh, I was going to say something too, and I just forgot about what I was going to say.
There's a lot to talk about today. We're too excited, aren't we?
This Italy team is just... It's exciting, like, to watch this.
Yeah.
To watch this growth. I'm just like, oh, man,
Yeah.
now I want to watch Italy games.
I know Italian players' names for a change, like Ignacio Brex.
Now, I
can say that with pride.
I was looking into Italian rugby. They are pouring money into their grassroots.
Yeah, they beat the under-20 Scotland team pretty handily.
They're putting a lot of effort. There's a lot more money now going into youth rugby.
Yeah.
And it is paying dividends.
Yeah.
The thing about Scotland is that their team is sitting on a knife edge.
Yeah.
They have a good lot of players right now, but there is not a lot coming down the pipeline.
They're not worried about that. They recruit mainly from
they do rely,
South Africa and England.
It is like they do like rely on a lot of mercenaries. They do that. They do recruit. Any guy that has any sort of Scottish connection is good at rugby. They're putting them in the system.
If you pick up a piece of shortbread, you could play for Scotland.
But you also got to think like Scotland have to play with what they got.
I don't blame them.
Yeah,
I wish we would do this more.
System. Like,
why don't we do this more?
Like, how many people live in Scotland?
7
million?
No, 7.
Yeah.
No, I think it's about 6 million.
Yes, it's a small country.
It is a small country, yeah.
And for them to, especially a country where it's like not even like rugby is not.
It's not. It's not. And in
basketball is ahead of rugby. Like every other sport is more popular than
I would
rugby.
say of the 4 quote unquote home nations, Ireland, England, Wales, Scotland. I don't know if Ireland counts as a home nation. I don't know if I'm insulting people. I hope I'm not. But Scotland, rugby is, of all those countries, rugby is the least popular in Scotland, I would say. Do you know Scotland has the most participation in football of any country in the world? Like, Scotland is per capita the most football is the most popular sport there.
Oh,
right,
hands down. Like, yeah, they just like. So that's why, like, when they have this like mercenary system where they're like any person that has any sort of like connection to Scotland, they're putting them in their system. They kind of have to.
They do. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
And
it's fun to take
smart.
the piss. It's fun to take the piss.
It's fun to take the piss, but like, especially like also like. These are countries where a lot of people immigrate to anyways.
Yeah.
So you're going to have... These are countries... Like, they're not South Africa. Where, like... I don't even know what the immigration rate in South Africa is. Negative? I don't know. Like, it's probably low.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a place where a lot of people, like, move to.
No.
Right? So Scotland have to do what they have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
And but they were really seriously lacking in the junior department.
They are. Yeah, the future has never looked bright for Scotland, but
no.
the here and now is
the here and now. You got to live like if you're a Scottish fan, like revel in this because it might get like they're at a point where any day this whole thing could turn around. It could sink.
It could Wales on them any second.
It could Wales on them. They can go full Wales at any moment, and it's. Like this is a very fortunate time to be a Scotland fan.
Yeah.
But like, fuck, it is like, it's on a teeter-totter. Like,
as gloomy as I am about Wales, give it 10 years, we'll be all right. Like Scotland, like it could go away forever if you're not careful.
And a lot of people are like a lot of people that know Scottish rugby talk about this too. They're talking about this is they're very fragile for the future.
They are.
They could be exposed really easily. Like it's just it's scary, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Should we go on to the last game?
Yeah, I want to talk about this. I'm excited for this because I've got a lot to say. In a neutral, fun, positive way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go.
What did I tell you at the start? Okay, so you're sat there chewing your fucking toenails to the bone, and you're sat with our good friend Scott from Galway, who's actually Irish, and you're both nervous as fuck, right? And I'm telling you as a neutral, I'm sat there right from the start. What did I tell you? Without taking the piss. You can take the piss after, but tell me what I said.
You're fine.
What did I say would happen, though?
Ireland were going to win.
Right, but how did that happen?
England were going to get tired.
Right, because England, First 10 minutes, you're like, whew, look at these boys. Whew. Like, because they were making Ireland look a bit silly under pressure, weren't they? Because Ireland were throwing the ball behind them, panicking, getting smashed.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were like, we're going to lose. This is England are really up for this game. And they were up for this game.
Yeah.
But just the way England played, I could tell as a neutral, I was like, they're not going to maintain
Their
this.
style of rugby is not sustainable.
And the thing is, it's not just me being some kind of savant. You've seen this in every single game they've lost, which is a lot recently. Like, if I was an English fan, I'd be happy that Wales are doing so shite. Because if next on the chopping block of bad attention is England, they've got so many good players and they've got a coaching problem, right? You've got so many good players. You've got a game plan which works but hasn't worked for a full game in 18 months.
They look like they're a team that's also, when they have the ball in hand,
Yeah.
all the players are playing on a different team.
Yeah. Yeah. They play like this aggressive form of basketball almost, don't
It's
they?
just like everyone's on a different, like they're not on the same page when they
Yeah.
have the ball in hand.
Yeah.
Like Marcus Smith is just doing all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
He's got no one there supporting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's going in alone.
Yeah.
Like it's just their defense is good.
Yeah.
It's better than it was like in the autumn.
But it
Nations.
doesn't last though, does it? Because
No.
when Ireland started scoring, like it was like the fucking opened the tap, didn't they? Like
Yeah.
once they get tired, you can beat them. Another thing I'll say about England is people were sort of I've talked about this before. The fact that England's back row is weird internationally. Every country has a good back row, and they have a balance of an attacking dynamic 7, a really good ball carrying 8, and a hard hitting 6. England always have 3 hard hitting 6s in the back row, and people are like, oh, well, they criticize the Curry brothers. They're good players, but what they're good at is smashing people. No, I don't associate either of the Curry boys with attacking, silky, weaving through people 7 style play. I don't mean 7's rugby. I mean 7 flanker. Their back row is 3 good players who all do the same fucking thing. And Ben Earl coming in and being the 8 is almost the right answer to the wrong position.
He's really claiming that position.
He is, but he's not an 8 for me. He's a 7.
He was awesome.
He's very, very
yesterday.
good. He's very fucking
He
good.
was
Yeah.
like him, Marcus Smith,
Yeah.
Ollie Lawrence.
Who you have not said nice things about.
No,
But he was good yesterday.
these guys were giving like fucking Ireland a hard time the
for
whole
about-
time.
Yeah, they were. And those last 2 tries that England scored, it did look like Ireland had kind of gone, yeah, we've won this. Let them have a few tries. But it came off Ollie Lawrence, didn't it? Like he was the one sort of making things happen.
Yeah, so it was like when we were talking last week about how their spine is kind of fucked up. Finn Smith, in my eyes, plays better for England than Marcus Smith.
I disagree.
He like Marcus Smith is just too dynamic for England.
That's a point I
Finn
agree
Smith
with.
he was better at getting the other players involved in the attack.
The problem is Marcus Smith is very good at breaking the line. But
Yeah.
the problem is not with him. The problem is England are not coached well enough to have good support play. It's almost like they're surprised when he does this. He's
Yeah.
like, he does this 5 or 6 times a game. Follow the speedy little fucker and you might score a try. But they're all stood back going, there goes Marcus again.
Imagine
breaking the line.
You put Marcus Smith in the French team with
Oh.
Dupont as his scrum half.
Yeah.
Like
Magical.
those two, and then the back players, like they would
Yeah.
fucking like.
Enthusiastic centers who can
Yeah.
follow their fucking
That's why I was
10. Yeah.
looking at Finn Smith, and then
Yeah.
when I was looking at this game too, and I was watching Marcus Smith do all this crazy
Yeah.
shit, and he's a good player.
Yeah.
I could see now why Borthwick like had a hard on for George Ford.
Because he knows how to get the other players involved more, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
George Ford plays this like more controlled, slower game
Yeah.
that can get the English players more involved.
But
in
that's
it.
been England's game plan for 400 years.
Yeah, it's old and it doesn't work. That's
Doesn't
the problem,
work.
right? But they have
They
like
can't attack.
my eyes, like Marcus Smith is playing a different game. He's at
Yeah.
a different level than the rest of the
He's
offense.
single-handedly trying to change England's DNA, which is what they badly need.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking Steve Borthwick said, I don't think that's a good idea.
It's kind of
Marcus."
like, you know how Finn Russell came onto the scene for Scotland,
Yeah.
and he was trying to be chained down. So he was playing a different game, but he wasn't connecting with the offense.
Yeah.
And he wasn't connecting with the coach.
Yeah.
It feels like that. Like Marcus Smith, like they need to like cater to him more.
They do.
And they need to center the game plan around him more.
That's right.
Because he's the one he's making things happen.
He is making things happen.
Right? And once Gregor Townsend let Finn Russell loose,
Yeah.
the whole thing changed.
Once he based the game, he had to submit to Finn Russell's ego a bit, because Finn Russell was obviously having a tantrum about, look, I'm fucking amazing. Let me do what I want to do. Marcus Smith doesn't seem like that kind of guy, but he's the same kind of player. He is the guy who's unlocking England's attack, but Borthwick is just like, you're good enough to be on the team, but I'm not going to allow my team to play around your style. So Borthwick yet again proves he hasn't got a fucking clue what he's doing. Right? He hasn't got a solid plan.
Because when you look at this game, like when you look now in hindsight, we looked at this game.
Yeah.
It was basically Ireland pounding on the door.
Yeah.
For like 70 minutes. And England just holding the door.
Yeah.
Like holding it closed.
Yeah.
As much as they could.
Yeah.
Putting all their strength behind everything.
And then they got exhausted.
And that was basically the game.
Well, England scored first. England was sparky. They opened well.
They got a good bounce of the ball.
And then they were like, okay, we've done an attack. How many do you need a game? 1? Fine. Okay, let's defend. And defend well. But then when they got tired, and let's start to pivot to talk about Ireland now. Like when Ireland brought their subs on, who were better, like as soon as Crowley came on, it was game over, right? For me. Like
the control came on. It was there was a big revelation in this game for Ireland. We want to talk about that, like, because the Prendergast hype train, which I think is still there, and you got to think about Prendergast. This is the biggest game he's played in.
He shouldn't have been playing in this game. Not starting it.
You can say that. I can agree with you, but I'm really glad that he did. Okay. Because that experience, because this was the biggest test match he's played in.
Missed 2 kicks.
Yeah,
one of them was really easy.
And England were all over him.
Yeah,
they were pushing him.
They were mean to him.
Yeah, they were bullying him. They were trying to get under his skin, and it was working. He was falling off of tackles.
Yeah,
his physicality is a liability.
Yeah, it is.
And it really shows. Hey, because Prendergast has everything, like skill wise, to be there.
Yeah.
But he is lacking. He's lacking in the physicality department. England was able to get under his skin.
Yeah.
Like he missed those 2 kicks that he usually should have made. Like he was a little like
a bit flustered in attack because they were putting a lot of pressure on him.
I thought his distribution of the ball, because every time like a lot of the times when Ireland got into that 22, it was because of him. It was because of the gaps he was finding. He is really good at seeing guys and giving the ball to the right guy. He is very slick at that.
I want to be super clear. I sound like a little American. I want to be super clear. He is a really good player. I'm not disputing that. I just felt my point has always been Jack Crowley has done nothing but good things for Ireland. He deserves his position as the starting 10. And I felt bad for him that Prendergast was being almost shoehorned in too quickly. This was the perfect game for Crowley to start and Prendergast to finish. Once England is so tired of doing their blitz defense, bring Prendergast on. He's a very skillful player.
I don't know if Prendergast would be the right person to close out the game.
But okay, so why is he starting it then?
I think he just has the skills to get Ireland on the right foot, and offensively he was doing that. Offensively, I thought when he had the ball in hand, he was making right decisions.
I don't think he had a terrible game at all. I just think like Crowley came on, he was like, "This is like sit down, little boy. This is how it fucking goes." You know?
Also he was getting bullied.
Yeah.
And when Crowley came on, he didn't let England do that.
No, he's physical, isn't he?
He holds his ground.
Yeah, he does.
He's a physical player.
Yeah.
He has the composure. He's been in these tight situations before. Now that Prendergast has this is going to be an eye-opening game for Prendergast. So that's why I'm really glad they actually in hindsight now, like starting him, getting him that experience, putting him in this awful position where this team just treated you like a piece of shit the whole time is going to be so good for him.
Welcome to big school sort of thing.
Yeah, basically. I get that. Yeah. Welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah.
He knows exactly where it really showed him what level he has to be at. I
agree with everything you said, actually. I think it's really good for him, his experience. I just always felt bad for Crowley because for me, this is his time to be Ireland's main character.
I don't feel bad for Crowley because I know Crowley is really good, and I know that he is he's gonna be the guy. Prendergast he's such a good talent. He'll eventually get it. He'll eventually unless Prendergast doesn't get the physical side of the game.
Oh, he'll fill out. He's only young.
That's the only thing that will hold him back.
Yeah.
But otherwise, but when Crowley came on, the game looked more in control.
Yeah, that was when it felt like.
But
England
that was
had not come back.
experience.
Oh,
That because of experience, you could put
Yeah.
Crowley in. If that was Crowley's first big game too, I think it would have probably went the same way.
They did it right with Crowley because they knew Sexton was retiring. They'd found their guy. They gave him the right amount of game time at the right times. And poor little Joey Carberry was sat there with his broken ankles going,
Yeah,
this was supposed to be me.
yeah.
I just don't want Jack Crowley to become another, I've even forgot his name in mid-sentence, Joey Carberry. He won't, whatever. I don't
He's
care.
such a different player.
He's much
He's a
different.
night and day different player than Joey Carberry.
Carberry's
Joey
doing pretty
Carberry's
well in
closer,
France, actually.
Joey Carberry is a closer player to Prendergast than he is to
Yeah,
Crowley.
he's more of an attacking. He's not an armchair general, is he?
I think this Prendergast starting thing, I think they should continue it.
I thought you'd say that,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to say anymore because I'm sick of talking about Irish
Because
tens.
I think they should. I think I like let this see where this goes.
Okay.
They're a good enough team where they could take a risk like that.
Yeah.
And if it starts going bad, they got Crowley sitting on the bench,
Yeah.
and he could walk in and
Well, France have done him a massive favor because Entomac decided he was going to try and fucking behead French Revolution style Ben Thomas. And you thought, like, of all the things that were going to happen in this game, that is the stupidest fucking thing France could have done. Like, your dynamic, exciting, sexy 10
Oh my
is
God,
going to
he's
just
gonna be-
fucking no arm shoulder someone in the head.
he's gonna get 2 or 3
Minimum
man.
3, I reckon. Because
Yeah.
it was blatant, wasn't it?
What a fucking.
It was stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
it
a
was
stupid
really
thing.
stupid. Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about some of these players before we
I want to just mention a few more of the Irish guys because
Yeah, that's what I wanna do too.
James Lowe is not aging at all. Just fucking hell. What a guy. And he's like I remember when I was talking to some English guys and they were like, we fucking hate Liam Williams. He's a fucking prick, but God, do we respect him. Same vibe for me. So, you know, like in Anchorman, where it's like, I hate you with every fibre of my being, but God damn it, do I respect you. Same thing. Like James Lowe, fucking incredible rugby player. Wish he was playing for my team.
Ireland got some clutch players.
Tim Tadhg-Beirne, Jameson Gibson-Park. When England were dominant in that first
Also,
10 minutes, like
Hugo Keenan. Fuck, he stopped everything going past him.
he did.
He was in the right spot all the time.
Yeah.
Who's that fucking? I think it was Ben Earls got that clear run.
He ran straight into Hugo Keenan, and Hugo Keenan tackled
No,
him.
Hugo Keenan ran straight into him
Yeah.
and just fucking put his whole body
yeah,
on the
Ben
line.
Earl has a break, and he decides weirdly to run into traffic, but yeah, Hugo Keenan tackled him, yeah. And it contrasts, and another, I don't feel bad. Like, Freddie Stewart is not your guy. Like, if I have to hear he's good under the high ball one more fucking time, like, what else does he do? Doesn't attack, misses a bunch of tackles, he runs laterally. Yeah, he can catch a ball.
Yeah,
That is the bare minimum for a fullback, being good under the high ball.
This was his game. He's been really good in the Prem. He's been easily the best fullback in the Prem.
Yeah.
And he stepped up to this thing and he just did not.
I've never
Nah,
seen him attack well in
nothing.
an England shirt. And people start saying things like, we need to have him on the team. He's got to go on the wing instead. And it's like, actually, pretty good wingers. That Harlequins lad, Caden something, he was good.
I guarantee
Yeah.
next week when they play France,
Yeah. Well, Freddie Stewart's going to be on the wing.
Marcus Smith's going to be at fullback.
Oh, and Finn Smith's going to start at 10.
Yeah,
That's
which might work out.
No.
I could see it.
No.
Because Borthwick, he needs to win this game. He needs to do something. His thing is on the line.
He needs to pick up the phone to Mike Brown right now. Right now. Because you play Marcus Smith at 10 and you play Mike Brown at fullback and you win.
Oh yeah, Mike Brown's got that. He's got that down pat. He's
Yeah.
he's the guy.
Yeah.
Bring in Mike Brown.
Bring him back. Bring your boys home.
Let's do some predictions for next week.
Okay.
What do you got here? What do we got here?
I think we got
we
first game is it Italy Wales?
Italy Wales. Holy shit!
We have a habit of improving as the Six Nations go on. You have to. I think we'll score some points. That'd be nice. But do you know what? Like, honestly, a bit more serious. Like, we've lost 3 of our best players in the first game. Like, we also Wales have some fucking shitty luck with injuries.
Yeah.
Lost our main ball carrier in Aaron Wainwright, who's Gatlin said he might be back because he had a bad fracture, a bad gash on his face, but it turns out he might have a fractured cheekbone. Owen Watkin looks like he's out for a long time. I think it was his ACL or something. I think Liam Williams might be out, and Faletau isn't maybe not fit enough.
Mm-hmm.
So already we've got an injury crisis. Game 2, we're in an injury crisis, right? So I can't.
I have no faith in Wales in this game.
No, I don't. No,
this
it's
is the
hard to
first
see.
game where I'm 100% Italy's going to win this game.
Yeah, I just
It's
don't
in Italy
see it.
too.
I just don't see it. Like, and you know what? It's a lot to do with confidence and morale, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's a lot to do with that.
Because the pressure's going to be on the Welsh team.
So much.
Everyone's expecting to lose already.
Yeah.
It's already probably not a good atmosphere.
No.
A good camp to
We
be in.
need to at least have a bad game to win
Yeah.
this, sadly. Because Dan Biggar said it. He said yesterday, this might be Wales's biggest game in 15 or 20 years, I think he said. And it's true, because this is like knife-edge stuff. Unless we get some confidence soon, when are we going to win a game again? Because we're not beating anyone else now. We're not beating France. We're not beating Ireland or England. We're not beating Scotland. We may have even lost that thing we had where we get it up for England.
Mm-hmm.
There's just nothing there, is there? And then you look at, we probably already arranged a summer tour against South Africa and New Zealand at the same time or something mental. It's like, can we not have a fun ayahuasca trip to South America like Scotland did? Fucking hell.
Let's win some games, have a good trip.
Yeah, I think we're playing Japan in the summer, and that'll be shit.
The game after that is England-France. Ooh.
France.
Ooh.
France.
France is going to win this game.
100%. Yeah.
Borthwick's going to be, if Borthwick loses these two games,
Yeah.
like,
He's
His-
got to be on the chopping block now.
like, because
Yeah.
now they lose, because he's in a bad spot. If they lose
Yeah.
this game,
Yeah.
England's in a bad spot because Scotland's going to be gunning for them hard,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
a great team.
They are.
They could even this could even be the year that Italy beats them.
Yeah, it could be. And the crazy thing is, England right now have incredible quality. They've got so many good players.
Swidge Rugby said on a podcast not too long ago that he thinks that this team in the next World Cup has a better chance. Like this English team
Yeah.
has a better chance at winning the World Cup than Ireland does.
He's kind of like that octopus that predicted the football results. He is actually really good at, as much as he's gaslit me about Italy, he did predict South Africa winning that World Cup a couple times ago early on.
Yeah.
Like he knows, he's good at predicting World Cups. The weird thing is Borthwick will not be in charge when the World Cup comes around. That's my prediction.
100%. I agree with you.
It's not that much of a wild prediction either, is it really? So I guess like if you had the right coach at England, they could be as good as France or Ireland, but with the players they've got.
Do you think Fabien Galtier could be at risk if he loses this game?
I do actually, because as good as France are, they're good because of the quality of players they've got.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, you got Sean Edwards, who's behind the scenes one of the best coaches ever,
Mm-hmm.
right? So unless Galtier wins a Grand Slam, I think he's in trouble.
I almost think that Sean Edwards, ever since he left Wales, the whole thing has started collapsing. It's almost like he was like the glue.
Yeah, I mean, we were famous. He was the foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were famous for being hard bastards who didn't let you score a single try. When Wayne Pivac came in, yeah, he lost some crazy games. Like he lost to Georgia, which was unacceptable. Imagine that being unacceptable. We could lose to fucking Tunisia tomorrow, and everyone be like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah, they wouldn't get rid of
Yeah, that sounds about right. But fucking Wayne Pivac, when he came in, we were immediately, our attack was lightning overnight. We still when Wayne Pivac won the Six Nations with Wales, we'd scored the most tries of any team. That record still stands.
Like I think I said yesterday, I was like, it's in hindsight, it looks a little premature.
It does. Because imagine you'd let Wayne Pivac keep the sexy attack in Wales going and the defence slowly improved. All of a sudden, we have kind of the opposite of the South Africa problem where we're a smashy team who get better at attack. We've been an attacking team who get better at defense.
Mm-hmm.
I miss Pivac. Imagine saying that.
The last game of the weekend on a Sunday,
Yeah.
Scotland versus Ireland.
I've been saying for a while that Scotland need to beat Ireland for me to take them seriously as a global force, but it's not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
Where are they playing?
In Scotland.
Still not going to happen.
This is their best chance right here at home.
Not without Tuipulotu.
Even without Tuipulotu, like
No.
it's one guy. Like this is gonna be if they can do this,
Yeah.
if they can get this win.
Yeah.
Like
This is the game I'm most excited for this weekend.
because if Scotland could beat Ireland, like they could win the Six Nations.
They haven't beat. That's the problem, though. They haven't beaten Ireland. They have not stepped up to what people expect of them ever. If they can beat Ireland, I'll take them really seriously.
I don't think Scotland are gonna win this game.
No, I
though.
don't either.
In reality, like the players, Ireland's just
Scotland just don't have the depth either, do they? Ireland's bench is mental, and like you've got the thing is, as good as Ireland are, and they are really good, They also have a golden generation going on behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, but we always talk about Ireland's structure and depth, and all the supporting systems are really good. But look at guys like Jameson Gibson-Park, James Lowe, Tadhg Beirne. These guys don't come around very often.
No.
When they retire, I'm a bit worried about Ireland in the World Cup sense, because these guys aren't young. They've got their best players are still playing really well right now, but in 2 years, some of them might have retired.
They're going to be 35, 36, some of them.
Yeah, look at Matt Hansen and James Lowe, excellent wingers. Before that, you never really talked about Irish wingers.
Yeah, Tech Furlong, he's like 33 right now.
Yeah, Porter is old. He's getting on.
Porter's only 28. Or 29.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
and
so he'll be good,
Yeah.
but he could be getting into his niggle era.
He could.
Because Tadhg Furlong is in his niggle era.
He's gone into his cocoon.
Every other game, he's he's getting injured. Something's happening to him.
Yeah.
Right? And
what did you say yesterday? His bones need to calcify.
Yeah, that's what happens with props. Like, if you look at these props, they get to this age, like around 31, 32.
Yeah.
Injury.
Yeah.
And then after their bones calcify, their muscles leather up.
Yeah.
They become a new human.
And they never get injured again.
And they never get, look at
Cian Healy.
Dan Coles, Cian Healy. These guys are invincible right now.
That's right. Yeah, they can't get injured.
And they can almost look like they could play till they're 60.
Yeah.
Right? Because their bodies have fully transformed. They're in their final form.
Prop enlightenment. They finally get to enlightenment, and they just kind of float, and you could be beating him in the face with an iron bar and they just don't feel it. It's like when Neo in the Matrix, the moment it clicks and he's like, this isn't fucking real.
Yeah.
And he just fucking dodging bullets. That's the same with props. They just take the bullets in the face and they go, they don't hurt.
Yeah.
They don't hurt.
They could do anything. You hit him with a tank.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt them.
Yeah, but you're right too. There is a lot of guys coming in though.
There's a lot of guys coming in. I think a guys like Jamie Osborne who's
we didn't
really
even talk
good.
about. We didn't even mention Dan Sheehan.
Yeah.
And he came on after being gone for almost a year
and looked incredible
and looked fucking awesome.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, Ireland are always going to be. They've got a fucking production line going on in Dublin, so they'll be fine. But
I didn't even mention how Ian Henderson's liability. I didn't even mention that.
He didn't need to. He didn't need to because he didn't give the game away. But I think in that first 10-20 minutes against England, when Ireland looked a bit ropey, it was guys like Tadhg Beirne, Jameson Gibson-Park, and James Lowe saving them at times. Mm-hmm. And then once things calm down, they look fine. They look like a quality team. But they do have those guys who at all times are fucking red hot, right? And those guys aren't young. Not that I'm not trying to
And they seem right now to in almost every position right now. They have a guy that's almost as good or just as good.
Yeah, and Finlay Bealham really filled that hole, didn't he?
Yeah.
Finlay Bealham looked great actually at tight head. So
Thomas Clarkson played really fucking great.
Yeah.
It was Thomas Clarkson, right? That was in that thing? Yeah. I just don't feel
I'm not
Scotland's in big trouble in this game. If they're going to win this game, they're going to have to pull something. They're going to have to go to a very dark place they've never been before.
That's the thing. I don't think Scotland have the grit to do this.
I don't either.
And they don't have the depth, more to the point. They just don't have the depth to do it.
They just don't have enough players to stay competitive.
They don't.
In this game.
And that's kind of like the way rugby's going. Like France and Ireland, one of their biggest strengths now is they just have very good academies. They're always going to have depth. Unless you can have that level of depth, you can't compete in the same way.
They won't be now Scotland won't be able to they'll probably score some tries.
Oh yeah.
The first half, it's probably gonna be pretty tight and close.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Scotland are leading at halftime.
But when it becomes a war of attrition, when that time comes on, the benches start coming off.
Yeah.
Ireland are gonna peel away.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I wouldn't start Prendergast though. I would start Crowley.
No, I think I'm gonna start Prendergast. I'd start Prendergast again. I think we should keep this roll going.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Whatever.
Well, friends, we've talked about everything we wanted to talk about today. And like and share the podcast.
Please do.
Yeah. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us anywhere now.
Yeah, we're over there.
We're all over the place.
We're not in America, though.
Email us at Friends of Rugby Pod.
We are not an American product.
Yeah.
You
Made
can buy
in Canada.
us. You can make Canada.
Made in Canada. Yeah. Distributed through an American website. All right, friends. Have a good one.
Will